Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast with your host, the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Iblievs. Each week we're here talking about the wrestling headlines and covering everything from Impact Wrestling to SmackDown. Join us each Tuesday via MayhemNews.com and the Mayhem News Live YouTube channel. You can subscribe to both and keep up with wrestling news and our show. Hi, this is the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Iblievs, and I want to apologize for my cracky voice today because weather appears kicking our tails and sinuses the same. But this is Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast for 2/11/2014. We're going to get into the headlines. Been kind of a weak headlines, and I still blame it on all this CM Punk crap. Everybody continues wanting to talk about it. Look, the man left WWE, okay? He got fed up with whatever he was fed up with. He left. He hadn't said anything. He's doing his own thing. He's moving on. You know, will he come back? Maybe. But these people need to stop speculating and messing up my news headlines with every time I look at something, it's got something by CM Punk. So-and-so talked about CM Punk. So-and-so said this was about Punk. So-and-so's got this, his feelings on why CM Punk left. CM Punk knows why he left. Vince McMahon knows why he left. That's all that needs to matter. He left. He'll probably be back. But let the man go. Move on to something else. Please. There are some good things in the headlines today. We're going to talk about it. Apparently, if y'all don't know who John Gaburick is, he's Big John. He's the one that basically runs the backstage other than Dixie Carter. I think he's actually the true power, if you know what I'm saying. Well, there were some people said that Kurt Angle and him got into it. Now, Kurt Angle said the reports could not have been less true. I did not argue with Big John. Everything is fine. Angle is scheduled for knee surgery sometime. I don't know if he's had it or not, but he was scheduled for knee surgery. So, there's always people always going to say, well, so-and-so was fighting so-and-so. They might have been talking about going out to a steak dinner. You know, some people yell when they want to go to steak dinner. Who knows? There's still a lot of people talking that Del Rio is going to leave, and I don't really have any problems with Del Rio as far as a wrestler. A lot of the problems with Del Rio in WWE is not Del Rio's fault. If you're going to make a heel, pardon my use of wrestling terms, if you're going to make someone a bad guy, if you're going to make someone somebody hates, you don't team him up with somebody that the fans, especially the women, love. People love Ricardo Rodriguez. You don't stick him with a heel. Because even though Ricardo was trying to be a heel, people loved him. They couldn't stand Del Rio. And then you're going to try to make him a heel, but you've got this guy. So they took some of our advice. They made him a face, but it still didn't work because they just didn't know how to make him seem legit. And it's obvious that he knows what he's doing in the ring. I mean, he's done everything. He's done MMA, he's done professional wrestling, he's done amateur wrestling. He was a big thing in Mexico. But the idea is you have to actually you have to actually know that, hey, early on, you could tell that they did not like Del Rio as a heel. I mean, they didn't. I mean, they were like, he's not believable as a heel. Anybody that smiles that much doesn't need to be a heel. Well, unless it's Snitsky and he's playing, a maniac. Now, Snitsky could smile a lot. Because Snitsky was supposed to be a psychopath. That's different. Del Rio wasn't a psychopath. He was playing a rich boy bad guy. He didn't need to smile that much. And it wasn't Del Rio's fault. Del Rio is a great wrestler. But if you're not introduced right, if you're not teamed up with the proper enhancement folks, and Rodriguez is going to prove soon that he's not just an enhancement talent. And we'll just leave it at that. Apparently, I spoke about John Gaburick, okay? Apparently him and Eric Young actually did have an argument. The taping that they did with the Monsters Ball match between Eric Young and Abyss, apparently, after the match, Eric Young took a little too long to get out, and Gaburick was like, we got other things, you need to hurry up and get out of the way. Well, apparently Eric Young has been kind of frustrated, so he let out some frustration and said, well, so they discussed the incident afterwards, whenever both of them were calmed and felt that it had been dealt with, and that, there was no sense of discussing it anymore. So apparently it wasn't too bad. John Cena made a Facebook, has reached the Facebook pinnacle. He's actually knocked Kobe Bryant off as the most popular athlete on Facebook. Wow. But Cena sucks. Which proves to me that all that crap at people booing him and stuff. Sometimes I wonder if it ain't just a setup. And still, as we always do, for those that think Cena can't wrestle, you really need to get in the real world. Okay. Before we go on, I got some good news. Received a thing from YouTube. We have been approved for live broadcasting. Now, before I've actually live broadcasted before, but it was through Google Plus. Now, from what I understand, that you can do Google Plus and live broadcast on YouTube and your webpage, simulcast through YouTube. And that was something that I had been pushing for. Apparently, reached a certain. I really can't. I wouldn't want to say popularity, but I guess I reached enough views where they felt, hey. So that's been enabled. Now I'm working on getting a better computer. Working up some things right now, but got some other things going on right now. It's more important. So, but that's just to let you know that that's a good thing. Now, Stephanie McMahon, who is the chief. What does it say here? Oh yeah, chief label officer or whatever. She was telling some people were wondering about pay-per-views, and they were wondering about the Over the Edge pay-per-view. And they're actually going to show that pay-per-view, and if you don't know what pay-per-view that is, you apparently found the wrong channel, because this is a wrestling report. So anyway, Owen Hart was killed in 1999 at Over the Edge. Now they are going to play that pay-per-view, but it will not be in its entirety. It will be edited to protect, out of respect for Owen Hart. And being a nurse for 13 years, you don't want to see what went on in the ring. Okay? If you do, you really need some help. You're a sick person. Anyway, so they are going to show that pay-per-view. It is going to be a part, and you can actually go to WWE.com. They have a whole list of the things that you'll be able to look at on the app, through the app via the network. And there's a lot of stuff. They can show stuff that they couldn't show on TV before. There's barbed wire matches, bra and panty matches, things that they can't show now. They can show on the network because it's internet. So no network involved except for the WWE network. So all those bloody matches between Abdullah the Butcher and I'm pretty sure. Think about some of the matches back in the day. You might have been too young to watch them, but think about Abdullah the Butcher versus American Dream. Think about the Hell in the Cell matches when they first started out. Blood everywhere. I remember Triple H walking out looking like he'd come out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Blood everywhere. All you could see was the whites of his eyes. Everything else was red. They can't show that now. But now with the network, they're going to be able to show it. And there's a lot of people that, didn't get to see. There's some ECW stuff that I don't really know if they could show it on a pay-per-view. I mean, there was some ECW stuff where, Sabu jumped off the second-story balcony and did a moonsault. Carnage. I mean, just total carnage. I can't wait. It's going to be great. For a broadcaster and a YouTube creator and a content creator, it will be something that will be talked about. It will be trending. I guarantee you, trending for the first 6 months. People will be talking about it for the first 6 months straight. TNA actually drew a 1.24 rating. That's up from the 1.14 last week. Now, I'm going to be honest. Here's how you compare the two. Now, they have a 1.24. Raw had a 3 something. See the difference? Okay. With people like Sting, AJ Styles, Dixie Carter, you're an idiot. People like, you name it, just name some of the people that's left. I mean, she pretty much, or whoever made the decisions to let these people go, if Sting is truly gone from TNA, if AJ Styles is truly gone from TNA, whoever gave those people authority to let those people go pretty much took out a gun and shot holes in the boat. Because when you have people that are key players, keystone characters like Sting, AJ Styles, just to name two, the wall starts to get a little crumbly. You've got people talking that Angle's going to leave. It's not good, and I'm sorry. MVP is not going to save. He's not going to bring in enough draw. If Angle leaves, and maybe one more person, it's not good. It's not good. I mean, they may exist, but I mean, the only reason I even watch TNA now is because Rude, Abyss, Angle, Austin Aries. That's pretty much it. And I guess you could put in Bully Ray. The people that are and some of the lady wrestlers. That's it. Gail Kim, ODB. There's. And now, actually, Rockstar Spud, and the Wolves, that's it. I mean, if any of those people gone, it's just putting holes in the boat and bringing in more water. Let's see. Naomi, one of the Funkadactyls, was found to have a small, minimal displaced fracture of the eye socket, normally called the orbit around the eye. Apparently it was medial, so it was close to her nose. Misplaced, meaning it was not just a fracture. It had actually slipped out of place a little bit, or either been pushed in a little bit. And you think, well, it's just a small fracture. When anywhere up in here, this area is called the triad. Anywhere up in there. So she's had some swelling. So I know that they did a CAT scan, and she's going to be monitored. So more than likely, she's not going to be in the ring. Apparently, she's supposed to go see someone to see if actually surgery is needed. Probably going to be pretty rare, but if it's displaced enough, they're going to have to go in and, tack that up. So we wish her well. Hope that everything turns out okay. Kind of hate to see her go. Really do. I hope she didn't stay gone long. Gonna move on to Impact Wrestling. Zema Ion. Basically, Aries comes out to start off the show, which is always good because Aries is ratings. And I'm like somebody else. Dream match. Somebody I've been talking to on Google Plus. Dream match. I would really like to see Aries go up against Daniel Bryan. Now y'all can correct me if I don't think they've ever met as far in the ring, but then again, you never know. So, but yeah, but he comes out. Zema Ion interferes, cashes in his feast or fire basically by hitting Aries over the head twice. Of course, you know, Aries turns everything over, hits the brain buster, you know. Well, there went that cage. Don't have to worry about that no more. Curry Man actually comes back. Now, I'll be honest, I couldn't really tell if it was Christopher Daniels or not. So I don't know if they've got somebody else playing Curry Man. The in-ring action was pretty much the same. But, you know, pretty much Bully Ray just destroyed him, you know. Would have preferred to sing Shark Boy. You know, give me a shell, yeah. Oh, yeah. But anyway, Abyss actually defeats Eric Young and is unmasked. And Parks meet Abyss. Abyss meet Mr. Parks. That's actually one of the best storylines they've done over the last 6 months. Yeah. Reminds me of some good memories. A great match. Tax. You know, you name it. Great way. You know. MVP comes out saying he is for the fans and for the wrestlers. And of course, you know, little guy comes out, says, well, Dixie Carter wants this, and you know, well, they go back in the back, talk. He tells her, we need to talk about you know, what's going on, you know, out in front of the fans. They're the ones that wants to hear this. And you know, so we move on. Angle loses to Magnus, of course, with EC attacking him, pretty much hitting his ankle and his knee, therefore sets up the surgery that's upcoming. Let's see. Joe basically destroys Robert Roode. No doubt about it. They have made Joe a beast again, which is good for business. Wrong show. Anyway, MVP basically tells Dixie Carter that the party's over, and that's how it goes off the air. Actually, decent show. Only had a couple of SmackDown was actually okay. The only problem is Kane and Daniel Bryan's long-winded interaction, which led to the Cesaro and Swagger versus Bryan later in the show. It kind of lagged. You know, it really lagged. Shield defeats Ziggler and Kofi with continued a tease of tensions between Ambrose and Reigns. Sheamus gets the bro kick for a win against Ryback. Daniel Bryan defeats Cesaro and Swagger with the S-Lock. AJ Lee defeats Nikki Bella with the Black Widow, which I think is still a badass move. Wyatt's defeat Goldust and Cody. And Orton defeats Christian. That's pretty much SmackDown for the week. Betty White is the special guest on Raw. She's funny. I'm sorry. I'll just wait for her to say that line from Lake Placid, but you can't say that in PG. You know, it would have been nice for her to come out and tell Triple H. You know, if I had this is where I'd tell you to suck it. But I'm sorry. Let's see. Triple H gives Bryan the day off because he says he's going to beat up Kane. Wyatt's versus Goldust, Mysterio, and Cody. Who's that? Cody. The Wyatts win with Sister Abigail on a running Mysterio. That was a great finish, great match. Fandango defeats Santino. Sheamus and Christian defeat the Real Americans. Del Rio defeats Ziggler and tries to pretty much take Ziggler out, which Batista come out and introduces him to the Batista Bomb on the announce table. Lita is announced as the third Hall of Fame inductee, and it was real funny what Jake the Snake Roberts said on said on Twitter. He said, "Well, there goes my idea of being the best looking Hall of Fame inductee for the 2014 class," and yeah, Axel and Ryback faced the Usos, and the Usos for the win. And the stuff between Billy Gunn and Betty White, where she pretty much puts the laxative in his tea, swaps the cups. that was really fun. The picture of Billy Gunn running up the ramp with his hand on his butt because he's trying not to crap himself. That was funny. Ambrose retains the U.S. title against Mark Henry via DQ. Well, we haven't seen that 30 times. Anyway, when Rollins jumped in to help. So there was a great tease between the Wyatts and the Shield. The Bella Twins did defeat AJ and Tamina. And Orton was defeated by Cena. And actually clean, no interference, nothing. But I got something to announce. I've been talking to a gentleman. His name is Joe Cronin. He has the Joe Cronin Show on YouTube. We're going to be doing some cross promotion. You can find the links to his YouTube I've got a little thing I'm going to add at the end of the show. Give him a shout out. If you go see his show, check him out. Leave a thing that says, "Hey, Mayhem News told me to see you." Also, that's some interesting news. Got a little cross promotion going on. And then I'm going to go for my sponsors. I want to thank ZachPackPromotions.com. They are helping us out with the webpage now, mayhem-news.com. I want to thank me and my wife's thing. We've got it's Fight Disability Slurs. We're trying to fight the use of disability slurs and slurs in general. I also want to thank Throttle for the wonderful music that you hear at the first of the show and at the end as the credits roll. And I want to thank them for New Blood, our new theme song. Appreciate it. They have a great thing. I've got all of their stuff. You can find it on you can find them on Amazon, iTunes. I want to give a shout out to Blast 52, an Irish band that if you don't know, you need to check them out. I've got the links to their YouTube channel. They're on Amazon and iTunes. Check them out. And also check out Girls with Big Guns. If you're a female gamer and want to game with some girls that are doing real good on the leaderboards right now, look up Girls with Big Guns and clan on your app, and you can submit. They do have some KD requirements, but, you know, that's whatever. You know, that's their business. But anyway, I appreciate everybody watches the show. We're way over 2,000 views. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get the subscribers up. So if you want to subscribe to our show, please do not hesitate. And you can also follow the webpage via email. When we post the show on email, you will actually, on the webpage, you'll get an email telling you it's been posted. Thank you. That's been Mayhem News Live, Wrestling Broadcast. And I am the Man in Black, a.k.a. Timmy Blips. Have a good night. Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast with your host, the Man in Black, a.k.a. T-Mib Lives. Each week we're here talking about the wrestling headlines and covering everything from Impact Wrestling to SmackDown. Join us each Tuesday via mayhemnews.com and the Mayhem News Live YouTube channel. You can subscribe to both and keep up with wrestling news and our show.